Welcome back to Reel Savant, where we bring stories to life. In today's recap, we're diving into the thrilling sci-fi adventure Distant. The story begins in the near future aboard the mining spacecraft Borealis, drifting through the vastness of space. Its crew is in cryosleep, with 4 years left until they reach their destination. Suddenly, an asteroid collides with the ship, triggering alarms. Andy, one of the crew members, is jolted awake by a video of his family back on Earth. The ship's AI announces a hull breach, initiating emergency protocols. Mechanical arms begin assembling a specialized survival suit around Andy, equipped with limited oxygen and an integrated AI. As chaos ensues, an automated launch sequence ejects all cryopods from the Borealis. Most pods escape safely, but a few are destroyed as explosions ripple through the ship. Andy's pod is equipped with a helmet just in time before its thrusters activate. However, upon entering the atmosphere of a nearby planet, the intense gravitational force causes the pods to plummet uncontrollably. Some ignite and disintegrate midair. Andy's pod deploys its wings, but they fail under the strain, and the pod crashes onto rugged terrain, skidding to a halt against a mound of dirt. Unconscious, Andy briefly envisions his family before regaining consciousness. The AI alerts him to a potential heart attack, but Andy disables the defibrillator just in time. Gazing outside, he realizes he's stranded in a barren wasteland. Attempts to contact others via radio yield no response. Before we move forward, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon, folks. When the pod begins shifting on unstable ground, the AI urges him to evacuate. Andy discovers his survival kit lacks a flare gun, a limitation tied to his lower rank. He tries smashing the door with a fire extinguisher, finally shattering the glass. As he climbs out, the pod tips, throwing him back inside. Broken glass punctures his suit, causing oxygen to leak, but he quickly patches it with a repair spray. A sudden engine short circuit sparks a fire, forcing Andy to grab his son's toy and scramble to escape. Emerging into the open, he witnesses the Borealis, now ablaze, crash onto the planet in a massive explosion. The resulting shockwave knocks him down, but he recovers quickly and learns from the AI that the ship is only halfway through its intended journey and has landed in uncharted territory. Spotting a distant light, Andy sets off, radio in hand, searching for other survivors. After some time, he comes across a burning section of the Borealis and finds a nearby pod. While scavenging for an oxygen tank, a crew member's body suddenly tumbles out. Examining the tank reveals it's damaged, so Andy moves on, oblivious to the bloodstains and claw marks on the pod's exterior. Eventually, he stumbles upon a collection of SOS beacons amidst powerful winds. This area has been set up by Dwayne, a fellow survivor who salvaged equipment from the wreckage. Dwayne reveals the company cut corners by navigating an asteroid field to save fuel, leading to their current predicament. He's managed to send an SOS to Earth, though it will take 8 months to arrive, and rescue could take another 2 years. Despite the grim outlook, Dwayne suggests searching the remaining pieces of the Borealis for supplies. While adjusting the equipment, Andy accidentally unplugs it. As he turns to fix it, a mysterious creature appears, snatching Dwayne before vanishing without a trace. Left alone, Andy finishes sending the SOS, takes Dwayne's gun, and sets out for the largest section of the wreckage. The AI reminds him his oxygen is running low as he continues his trek, periodically trying to contact other survivors. After reaching a cliffside, the AI malfunctions, leaving Andy frustrated and overwhelmed. He thinks of his family and vents his anger until the radio crackles with a faint voice. It's Naomi, another survivor. Although the signal is poor, Andy moves around until he can hear her clearly. Naomi reveals she's trapped in her pod and has searched for the crew's trackers. Naomi sends Andy her location, but the AI warns him that the terrain is unstable and he might not have enough oxygen to reach her. Hesitant, Andy is convinced by Naomi, who assures him she has enough oxygen for both of them for the next few hours. He begins walking toward her while they continue their conversation. Suddenly, Andy hears an odd noise and asks the AI to scan the area, but the function is malfunctioning. Naomi, upon hearing the AI's model name, notes that it was supposed to be discontinued, a cost-cutting measure by the company that prioritized savings over the crew's safety. As night falls, Andy becomes more cautious since his helmet's light isn't very strong. He freezes when he thinks he sees something, but dismisses it as a trick of the mind. Soon after, rocks begin rolling near his feet, and he starts to feel more uneasy as strange noises surround him. Unseen, a shadow looms above. Andy follows a series of small holes in the ground, eventually leading him to a larger hole covered in cobwebs. This realization connects the smaller holes to being paw prints. Panic sets in, and he rushes to move faster, noticing more cobwebs in the area. It begins snowing, and the growling noises around him grow louder. Something large charges past, forcing Andy to hide, switching off his helmet lights to avoid detection. A flare is fired into the sky, and the light reveals a massive spider nearby, with the crew trackers in its stomach, proof it has eaten them. Dwayne's gun fails to work, and in a panic, Andy starts running, only for the spider to chase after him. But Andy falls into a crack in the ground. The spider tries to reach for him, but Andy scrambles away, dodging its strikes. Andy falls over the edge of a cliff. Though the fall is painful, the snow cushions his landing. Terrified from the experience, Andy is reminded by Naomi that his oxygen levels are dangerously low. The fall has caused another tear in his suit, and he quickly seals it with the repair spray. At that moment, Dwayne's voice crackles through the radio. Naomi urges Andy to assist, but Andy is reluctant to face the monsters. The scanner is malfunctioning, and he doesn't want to get involved. Naomi points out that Dwayne is running low on oxygen, which motivates Andy to change his mind. As he moves among the wrecked pods, he spots the flares Dwayne shot into the sky. Dwayne is about to reveal the monster's weakness when the spider ambushes him again. Andy hides, hearing Dwayne's final moments over the radio as he's killed by the creature. Naomi activates the AI's voice and lights in one pod, distracting one of the spiders, allowing Andy to slip inside another pod. Naomi attempts to use a different pod to distract the second creature, but accidentally triggers the lights in Andy's pod. He's startled by the sudden illumination and finds a body lying inside. Thankfully, Naomi manages to activate all the remaining pods, distracting the spiders long enough for Andy to escape. However, the monsters quickly realize the trick and begin pursuing him again. Andy stumbles into a foggy area, and the spiders abruptly halt and retreat. Taking a moment to catch his breath, Andy urges Naomi to find safety as well, but she reveals she can't feel her legs. Beginning to panic, Naomi is calmed by Andy. Continuing his journey, Andy comes across a mesmerizing display of fireflies. One lands on his helmet, but suddenly glows red and attacks him. The other fireflies turn red and join the attack. Andy quickly escapes them, but the fireflies scatter when a deep growl echoes through the area, and a massive monster's mouth emerges, trapping Andy in a sticky substance. The creature begins swallowing him whole, but remembering his suit's defibrillator, Andy triggers it. The shock forces the monster to spit him out. Andy flees, finding shelter in what looks like a hollow tree. However, he falls into a firefly nest, and the creatures attack him again until he escapes the tunnel. Naomi informs Andy that his oxygen level is sufficient to reach the Borealis, but not enough to return for her. She urges him to prioritize survival, but Andy refuses to abandon her and presses on. He reaches an area engulfed in flames from the crash and struggles to breathe, collapsing momentarily, and eventually finds Naomi in her pod. She opens the door to let him in, and he can finally breathe again. Andy attempts to free her trapped leg. Using tools from Naomi's emergency kit, he manages to get her unstuck. Thankfully, her leg isn't broken, and Andy improvises a splint to help her walk. As the duo gathers supplies, a horde of spiders begins to surround them. They run. Eventually, they reach the other half of the Borealis. Sliding down slopes and blocking debris behind them, they barely evade the spiders. Naomi distracts the creatures with flares, allowing them to climb the hill and enter the ship just as a spider lunges. Inside, the duo discovers the backup generator is intact, creating a stable atmosphere in the cargo hold. As they explore, they follow a trail of blood to the main console, covered in guts and cobwebs. Hiding, they watch as a massive spider enters, dropping human remains and a helmet from its stomach. Sickened but unnoticed, they stay hidden. Suddenly, a hatch in the ceiling opens, and an even larger monster appears. Andy seals the door, but Naomi scolds him. Now they're trapped in an airlock. Resigned to their fate, Andy plays a video of his family, sharing that they died in a car crash. leaving him with survivor's guilt. Naomi reassures him that his actions have saved her, offering him a glimmer of hope. As the spider breaks in, Naomi spots an orb of fireflies stuck to Andy's suit. They throw it at the monster, and the fireflies swarm, forcing it to retreat. They open the opposite door and race toward the cargo bay. In the cargo bay, the spider shakes off the fireflies and attacks again. Naomi distracts it by leading it away, while Andy climbs to the top platform to find a working pod. Powering it manually, Andy says goodbye to his AI, ejecting the pod at the perfect moment to crush the spider. Naomi, believing Andy is dead, breaks down in tears. However, Andy regains consciousness, and the two embrace. Together, they watch the sunrise through the ship's window, holding hands in relief and hope for the future. If you enjoyed this quick recap, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon. See you in the next one.